If you're over 60 and have noticed that your ejaculation feels weaker than it used to, that it takes longer, or that sometimes it doesn't happen at all, I want you to know something very important. Many men walk into my office with a quiet look in their eyes and a sentence they can barely bring themselves to say. Dr. Marissa, something's not right. I just can't anymore. That sentence always lands with silence. It's not shouted. It's not dramatic. It's whispered, as if saying it too loud might make it more real. And yet, the weight it carries is immense. Because what they're really saying is this: I don't feel like a man anymore. If you're over 60 and you've noticed that your ejaculation feels weaker, takes longer, or worse, doesn't happen at all, I need you to know two things. First, you are not alone. And second, this is not just aging. It's not normal. It's a sign. And it's your body's way of crying out for help. The truth is, there are two silent enemies working behind the scenes, slowly dismantling the systems that once made you feel confident, powerful, and connected. And while the pharmaceutical industry wants you to believe that pills and injections are the only way forward, they're wrong. Today I'm going to show you what those two enemies are, how they work, and how you can fight back naturally, effectively, and using nothing more than what's already in your kitchen. This is not about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming what's still yours. And it starts now. Before we dive into the science and the solutions, let me introduce myself. Not just as a physician, but as someone who has walked beside thousands of men on this very journey. I'm Dr. Marissa Blake, a board-certified urologist with over a decade of experience treating men over 60. My clinic isn't just filled with charts and tests. It's filled with real stories of fathers, husbands, grandfathers, who once believed their strength had simply faded with age. But here's what I've learned over the years. It's not age that steals your vitality. It's habits, imbalances, and the silent damage that no one warns you about. My approach is different. I don't just write prescriptions. I educate. I listen. I empower. And today I'm going to give you tools backed by science and shaped by compassion, so you can reclaim control over your body, your performance, and your peace of mind. 1. Poor blood flow to the pelvic region. Let's start with the first enemy. It's silent, slow, and often misdiagnosed as simply getting older. But make no mistake, this enemy is responsible for the weakening of one of the most complex and intimate functions in a man's body: ejaculation. I'm talking about poor blood circulation. Think of your circulatory system like a highway, delivering oxygen and nutrients to every vital organ, including the muscles and nerves involved in intimacy. But with time, that highway starts to narrow. It gets stiff, clogged, and less efficient. I remember a patient named James, 65 years old. He sat in front of me, frustrated and defeated, and said something that stayed with me. Dr. Marissa, it just feels like there's no pressure in the system anymore. He wasn't wrong. Ejaculation isn't just about desire. It's about mechanics. It's a neuromuscular process that requires coordination between your brain, pelvic floor muscles, and blood flow. Without strong circulation, those muscles can't contract properly. The result? Weak or delayed ejaculation. Sometimes, nothing at all. The key player in this process is something called nitric oxide, a molecule that tells your blood vessels to open wide and let blood flow freely. But here's the catch. After age 60, your body naturally produces less of it. So how do we restore it? With nature. 2 simple foods, pomegranate and watermelon, are rich in compounds that boost nitric oxide. Pomegranate contains punicalagin, a polyphenol that protects blood vessels. Watermelon provides L-citrulline, which converts into L-arginine, a direct precursor to nitric oxide. I gave James a plan. 6 Oz of pomegranate juice in the morning, 2 slices of watermelon in the afternoon. 2 weeks later, he returned with a smile and a spark in his eyes. "The pressure's back, Doc," he said. "I feel strong again." "That's not a miracle. That's biology. Working again because you gave it what it needed." 2. Hormonal and nervous system imbalance. Now let's talk about the second enemy. This one is even more deceptive because it doesn't attack your body from the outside. It comes from within. Slowly, quietly, it shuts down your desire, dulls your pleasure, and leaves you feeling disconnected, not just from your partner, but from yourself. This enemy is chronic stress and hormonal imbalance. Let me tell you about Michael, 58 years old. He came into my office not with complaints about his body, but about his mind. "Dr. Marissa," he said, "I'm there physically, but I don't feel anything. It's like the joy is gone." Michael wasn't just struggling with delayed ejaculation. He was carrying the invisible weight of constant stress, financial pressure, health worries, aging parents, and his body was responding by pumping out cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol is useful in emergencies, but when it stays elevated day after day, it becomes destructive. It suppresses testosterone, the very hormone responsible for your drive, your energy, your mood. It also depletes dopamine, the neurotransmitter that helps you feel joy, pleasure, and connection. No wonder so many men feel numb. So how do we fight this invisible intruder? Once again, with food. And this time, the allies are avocado and pumpkin seeds. Avocados are rich in healthy fats, the building blocks your body needs to produce testosterone. They also contain vitamin B6, which helps lower cortisol. Pumpkin seeds are loaded with zinc and magnesium, 2 minerals absolutely essential for hormonal health, nervous system support, and yes, prostate function. For Michael, we kept it simple. Half an avocado with breakfast, a handful of pumpkin seeds as an afternoon snack. Within a few weeks, he came back with color in his face and light in his voice. "I feel connected again," he told me. I didn't realize how far away I had drifted. That's the power of restoring your hormones and calming your nervous system. You don't just regain function, you regain feeling. The power of synergy. What happens when you combine both solutions? Now, you might be wondering, what happens when you support both systems at once? When you improve blood flow and rebalance your hormones? That's exactly what William, 70 years old, set out to discover. He wasn't dealing with a specific complaint like James or Michael. He simply said to me, "Dr. Marissa, I feel like I'm just existing. I'm not sick, but I'm not alive either." So we created a full-body approach. Every morning, William drank 6 ounces of pomegranate juice. For lunch, half an avocado. In the afternoon, a few slices of watermelon and a small handful of pumpkin seeds. No pills, no prescriptions, just real food that nourishes real systems. 1 month later, he returned, but this time something was different. He wasn't talking about his erections or energy levels. He was talking about his mind. "I started dreaming again," he said. "I wake up with ideas. I want to start projects. That mental fog I didn't even know I had, it's gone." Why? Because when circulation improves, the brain gets more oxygen. When hormones rebalance, motivation returns. And when you feed both systems, blood flow and neuroendocrine balance, you don't just perform better, you feel better. That's synergy. That's what happens when you stop treating symptoms and start restoring systems. Your body doesn't just come back to life, your spirit does too. And that's the kind of transformation I want for every man over 60 who's ready to stop surviving and start living again. Now, before we close, I want to give you one more tool, something you can start today that requires no equipment, no money, and no one else in the room. It's called a Kegel exercise. Most people associate Kegels with women, but the truth is they are just as powerful for men, especially those over 60. Why? Because they directly target the pelvic floor muscles, the very muscles responsible for ejaculation strength, bladder control, and erectile stability. Let me explain how it works. When you ejaculate, your pelvic muscles contract rhythmically. These contractions give that sense of pressure, intensity, and release. But as circulation and hormones decline, these muscles weaken, just like any other muscle in the body. The solution? Train them. Here's how. Squeeze the muscles you'd use to stop the flow of urine midstream. Hold the contraction for 3 seconds. Release for 3 seconds. Do 10 repetitions. Repeat 2 times a day, morning and evening. That's it. It takes less than 5 minutes. You can do it while brushing your teeth, watching TV, or even sitting at a red light. No one will ever know, but your body will. These small, invisible movements build real, visible strength, the kind of strength that leads to more control, better sensation, and greater confidence. Because sometimes, the most powerful change doesn't come from outside. It starts from within. So let's bring it all together. We've uncovered 2 silent enemies that quietly steal the strength, confidence, and connection from men over 60. Poor circulation and hormonal imbalance caused by chronic stress. But now, you also know the natural allies that can help you fight back. Pomegranate and watermelon to restore blood flow, avocado and pumpkin seeds to balance hormones, and a few minutes of Kegel exercises to rebuild muscular control from the inside out. These aren't theories. They're real tools backed by science and confirmed by the lives of men just like you. James, Michael, William, who chose to stop accepting decline as their destiny and started rebuilding with intention. And now it's your turn. If this message resonated with you, even a little, I invite you to do 3 simple things. First, pick one habit to start today, not tomorrow. Today. Second, share this video with a man you care about. A father, a brother, a friend. Someone who might be suffering in silence. And third, leave a comment below. Tell me, what spoke to you? What are you still wondering about? I read every message because this channel is built around real conversations with real men who deserve better answers. Because growing older doesn't mean growing weaker, and vitality doesn't have an expiration date. Thank you for your trust and for allowing me to walk this journey with you.